Hello all, and welcome to the 6th Precinct. I'm your local Boulder, Colorado detective, Jasi Sachs. Today we will be getting deep into the life of JonBenet Ramsey, who was a beauty queen and participated in many pageants, just like her mom did when she was younger. JonBenet Ramsey was murdered in her home in Boulder, Colorado on the night of Christmas in 1996. Today, we will be learning more about who this young girl was, what happened to her, and how she was killed, along with how this crime played out, including the suspects in her case. No one has ever been charged with this case, and the investigation remains open. JonBenet Ramsey was a beauty queen, and her parents were very wealthy. A lot of people think that her murder was a crazy murder. Back into what happened on the day that she was killed. They had gotten home on a long Christmas day from the Christmas parties, which they were very well known for. It was a long day. JonBenet was already sleeping. They carried her up to her room, put her in her bed, and got her ready for bed. They had all went to sleep. The next morning, Patsy Ramsey, her mother, woken up, walked down the stairs to, go make her morning coffee, and she noticed a note on the staircase. She grabbed it, and it ended up being a ransom note. This ransom note stated that they had John Ramsey and that she was safe, and she would continue to be safe if they withdrawed $118,000 and was given to them, and that they would let them know with further information. The key things in that ransom note is that she is safe, she will continue to be safe, and the $118,000. There are many people that they think have been involved in this crime, and many suspects that people think could have killed her. One, as to her mom, JonBenet's autopsy revealed that JonBenet had been killed by strangulation and a skull fracture. The official cause of death was asphyxiation with strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma. There was no evidence of sexual rape, but although sexual assault could not be ruled out. And this was all from Wikipedia. The first suspect in her case was Patsy Ramsey. They first identified that the ransom note's handwriting matched Patsy Ramsey. Patsy Ramsey was a suburban mom, and she just was very wealthy, and they thought that she had gotten really overly mad at JonBenet that night because she had wet the bed again. And it gotten so bad that she accidentally slipped and hit her. We don't officially know exactly who killed JonBenet Ramsey, but they think that Patsy Ramsey definitely had something to do with it. Another person of interest would be her brother, but they didn't have anything exactly towards him, just that he could have wanted more attention because JonBenet was a beauty queen and he didn't get as much attention as she did. So he did have interest in the case, but they didn't really focus much on him. And the other one was JonBenet, which was her father, and they think that Patsy and him had something to do with it. The only reason why they think Patsy was in on it by herself and it wasn't with John was because that she would be the only one to know of the $118,000 bonus that John had just gotten that year. No one else would have been able to know that. Another known person of interest would be Gary Olivia. He's a well-known sex offender. He's 32 years old, and he lived in Boulder, Colorado area. They arrested him and checked his bag, seeing that he had a picture cut out of JonBenet Ramsey. They let him go, not having enough evidence to keep him, according to Rolling Stone. The next person of interest was Bill McReynolds. He was the town Santa, and he's now deceased, but he was also a local family friend of the Ramseys. He went to every Christmas party. He was always there, but the weird thing was that he had a weird connection with JonBenet, and that everyone noticed. JonBenet would show him around the house, so he'd already know where the basement was, where she was found. They'd know where, he'd know where her room was because she showed him that. She was obsessed with Santa, as a little 6-year-old girl should be. When Bill McReynolds went into surgery, he told his wife that he wanted to go into surgery with this glitter bottle that JonBenet had gifted him. It was kind of creepy, but they kind of just passed it towards them. Then he had told his wife that he wanted his ashes mixed with that glitter that JonBenet had gifted him, which a lot of people thought that was not right at all. The case had started with when Patsy had called the police after she had seen the ransom note. She told all of her neighbors and friends to come on down because her daughter was missing and all this stuff. And that just makes it more weird. Why would you invite all your friends over? And before the police got there, they couldn't use anything as evidence because of it all being contaminated with all these people coming in with their fingerprints, everyone touching everything. It just wasn't adding up. And then this was the police's fault on this one, but it was a new trainee had told John to look around the house and maybe look for the unordinary, point things out, let's see if we can find anything. Well, he went downstairs with a few of his buddies, and they found JonBenet's body laying on the ground in their basement, dead, cold. She had a rope tied with a makeup brush around her neck, which was also Patsy Ramsey's makeup brush. He had lifted her up from the place that she was found and brought her upstairs and put a white blanket over her. And that was just even more of contamination to the evidence because they couldn't even use that as evidence. So they were led with nothing. They had nothing to go off of. And they couldn't use anything because they kind of messed up the crime scene. Now that we have talked about this horrific murder that still to this day has not been solved, we have gone over who JonBenet was, how she was killed, what happened to her, and the suspects in her case. This concludes the overview of this case, and now it's time to get back to cracking it. Thank you for being here today.